Oh, there, and welcome, world, to another episode of whatever this, whatever these videos are now. Um, so, does AA work? Absolutely not. Here is the 1989 Triennial Survey. Reveals a success rate of 5%. 5%, people. Other studies have found a success rate of anywhere from 3 to 8%. 3 to 8. 5% success rate is coming from AA itself. Okay, first of all, it's a religious cult. I went to it for 2 or 3 years, so yeah, I got involved with a cult. It just doesn't work. The number of people, the dropout rate is so freaking high. The number of people that go one time, a lot of people, they walk in the door and they literally walk out. I've seen it. If you look at AA's origins, it came from a cult. I forget the Oxford group, and you know they were Nazis. A lot of people don't like that, but that's what they were. Bill Wilson? You know how he had his spiritual experience, right? He dropped acid. Of course he saw God after he dropped acid. A lot of people see God when they drop acid. I've done acid one time. I didn't see God. Things were weird, though. Very weird. Never did it again. That was a long time ago. But anyway, the number of people that go to one meeting and never come back is very high. And AA doesn't like these numbers. They don't like to keep track of certain things, and when they do, they skew the numbers, and they're very dishonest, and they even admit sometimes that they're dishonest about it. But steppers keep on stepping, and you look at the way steppers deal with criticism. Typical cultic behavior. It's just it. It doesn't work. I mean, study after study after study, and AA's own numbers show it doesn't work. Now, do you want to meditate? Do you want to pray? That's fine. I mean, what do I care? I'm not going to try and stop you. I'm not going to encourage you. I don't care. I think maybe prayer and meditation could be a good thing. I don't think it's bad. I don't see anything bad about it. I mean, personally, I'm an atheist. I don't do those things, but if you do, you do. Again, I don't know. You care less if you do, or if you don't. I remember when I was in there, boy, I tell you what, the 13 stepping, that was awful. It was never tried on me. It's usually men that do it to women. But the backstabbing, the gossiping, like I said, the 13 stepping, the extreme immaturity of the vast majority of the members. It's really sick and sad. Because you have the real history of AA, and then you have AA's history of AA. They're not the same. Bill Wilson was a womanizer. He was a drug addict. He smoked. He and quite a few other people kept drinking. A lot of people that are mentioned or are referred to, even if not in name, but they're like, well, this group of people or that person or whatever in the big book. Most of those people did not stay sober. Very few of them stayed sober. You can go to Orange Papers, look up Orange Papers, go to Orange Papers. They have a lot of that information there, and you can find it and look it up for yourself. I have to be honest, I guess you could say I have a hatred for AA, and I have a hatred for anything related to it. AA, NA, CA. It's like it's used as a cure-all for everything. And it doesn't work. 5% is not a success rate. More people stop drinking on their own than get help in AA. I saw a meme earlier today, and made me laugh. These two elderly people at a funeral home, and their friend is in the coffin dead, and one of them says, well, yeah, I told you if you left AA you were going to die. It may have taken 40 years, but you finally died. Well, that's AA logic. And going to all these different meetings and clubs and groups and blah blah blah, and it's insane. It's truly insane. If people say, well, what other programs are there? What other programs are there? Let's see, there's Rational Recovery. There's SOS, Secular Organizations for Sobriety. Women for Recovery, Men for Recovery. And there are other groups as well. That's just the start. And these programs work. These other programs work. So if AA admits that only 5% is only a 5% success rate, only 5% of the people stop drinking, that's pretty darn bad. More people stop on their own than actually more people. What was the number? Like 75% of people quit on their own without any help. Research has shown that short-term, in most cases, short-term intervention helps better than lifelong going to AA. And if alcohol dependence was a disease, let's think about that. If it's not a disease, it's a learned behavior. Although you can have a physical addiction, but you learn that behavior and you keep doing it, and eventually it becomes an addiction. You physically become addicted to the alcohol. But it takes a while. Actually, we happen to know some people like that. Well, I'm not going to say any more than that. But they don't cause trouble or anything. So, no skin off my back. What was I going to say? I was going to say something relevant, and now I forgot it. If it's a disease, if you have cancer, do you go to a 12-step support group to cure your cancer or to treat your cancer? No. You go see a doctor. That's where you get treatment from. You don't see a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You see a medical doctor, an oncologist. That's who treats you. Now, you may receive other types of treatment to support the radiation, the chemo, whatever you get. Although there's other ways of treating. Not all cancer treatment is the same. There are a variety of things that are done depending on the type of cancer, where it is, how far along it's gone. I went through this with my wife, so I happen to know a little thing about cancer, and I don't want to get into it any more than that. But Do you pray expecting your cancer to go away? No. Well, you can. Again, I don't care if you pray or you don't, but it's not going to cure your cancer. Do you think going to a support group is going to cure or somehow treat your cancer? No. First of all, it's not a disease. I mean, cancer is a disease, but alcohol dependence is not a disease. It's a learned behavior, and you have to unlearn it. Cognitive behavioral therapy works far better than AA. And, I don't know what else I can say. I mean, the facts are the facts, and, just because some group, i.e. AA, says they're the only way, and they do say that, which is another indication that it's a cult. Any group that says they are the only way is probably not a good group to be involved with. But, again, I just gave you the facts. 1989 triennial survey reveals 5% success rate. Do you think that is a legitimate success rate? Hell no. Excuse my language, but hell no. And, I remember people would show up drunk. And I'd say, well, that person's drunk, so that person shouldn't be here. And then they'd make excuses about it. Another problem that AA has is you have to find your part in it. There's actually a video of some stepper saying that people who were sexually abused as children have a role to play in what happened to them. No, no, you don't. The person responsible is the person who did the abuse, the person who abused that person, not the person who was abused. Don't listen to that bullshit. Please. People die in AA. People die because of AA. There is no program to get. People say, you got to get to the program and go to meetings. There's no program. It's BS. You got to work the steps. Working steps isn't going to cure you of cancer. It's not going to cure you of hepatitis or whatever. It doesn't work that way. There's a reason there are 12 steps. Okay, 12 is a religious number. Yes, AA is a religion. You have to have God. You have no choice. You have to have God. If you want to admit it or not, that's what the Big Book says. And I still actually happen to have a copy of the Big Book and the 12 and 12. But I haven't read them in decades. But I probably will again eventually, just to get a good laugh. Because frankly, when I go to any sort of religious event, I have to hold myself back because sometimes I hear things that make me want to laugh. And I'm not trying to be mean about that, because I do go to church sometimes, believe it or not. Okay, and maybe not on a regular basis, but once or twice a year I will go to church. So, but anyway, how long is this? Almost over 14 minutes, but I've gotten the facts out. So, oh boy, I know those steppers are going to be coming after me. I know what steppers are like. Oh boy, I've dealt with them before. So, go for it.